Beautiful. And up next, let's work on navbar, big sidebar, as well as the small sidebar. And then once we have the basic returns, then let's complete the shared layout. So first thing that I want to do is to create navbar, small sidebar, and big sidebar in the components. And you can right away import the wrappers, basically CSS, and just set up some simple return, whatever you want. And then we want to, of course, set up import export in the index.js in the components. And then in the shared layout, we want to get the outlet because we want to display the pages, grab all of the components, the wrapper, so the styles for the shared layout, and then we want to set up this return. Now, since there's so many moving pieces in the shared layout, I suggest doing this together because even tiny bug is gonna lead to a totally different look. So let's start, I guess, in the components where I want to create the navbar, the sidebar, as well as the big sidebar. And I believe I called small sidebar. My apologies. And I'm going to start here by just returning something. And I think I'm going to go with heading 2. And for now, I'm not going to worry about the wrapper. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. Then we want to do the same thing with big sidebar and small sidebar. So we want to go here with small sidebar.js. Let's create the file. And again, we're going to go with heading 2 here. And the same is going to be with a big sidebar. So big sidebar.js. Let's set up the return. And I want to change this one to heading 2 as well. And then, of course, we need to work in the index.js where we want to grab all of the files. So let's go here with navbar. Then we want to get the small sidebar as well as the big one. So big sidebar here. So let's place it here. And after that, let's navigate to the shared layout and set up the proper return. First, we want to get the outlet. So that's the component where we'll display the contents of the pages. So the stats and rest of them. Also, we want to get the navbar, small sidebar, and big sidebar, as well as the wrapper. So the styles for this particular component, the shared layout one. Let's start here with outlet. Then let's also grab navbar, sidebar, and big sidebar. I keep saying sidebar, but it's actually small sidebar and big sidebar. So again, one is for the small screen and the second one is for the big screen. So let's say here big sidebar. Then we want to get the navbar, and also we want to get the small sidebar. And as far as the layout, well, we need to get the wrapper, correct? So let's go over here with import. Then we're looking for a wrapper. And where is it coming from? Well, first, let's navigate 2 levels up. We want to look in the assets and then in the wrappers. And then more specifically, we want to look for shared layout somewhere here. Yep, there it is. So this is going to be our main return. So let's set up the wrapper. And then let's start by setting up the main tags. So we'll set up main tags. We'll add a class, and that is going to be a dashboard class. Then inside of the main, we're going to have a 2-column layout. We'll have 2 sidebars, and actually some of the appearance we'll control with CSS. And don't worry, we'll come back to this one later. And then in the second div, we're going to have the navbar as well as the outlet. So I want you to think of it this way, where notice I have the sidebar, correct? So this is going to be my 1 column where I'll have the navbar as well as the content of the page. And then depending on the screen size, using the CSS, we'll basically toggle which sidebar we show. And if this is fuzzy, don't worry. Once we start toggling the sidebars and all that, it's going to make sense. So let's navigate back. And again, like I said, in the main, first I want to set up a small sidebar and big sidebar. So let me just grab the component, small sidebar first. Then I want to set up the same way the big sidebar here. And then we were going to go with div. And then inside of that div first, we're going to place a navbar. And then another div. And in here, we're going to go with a class. And the class we want to add is dashboard page. So this is going to style that outlet, the content of the page. And then, of course, we want to complete by setting up the outlet. And once we do that, when we navigate to the browser, I mean, we'll see a bunch of things here. So small sidebar, big sidebar, navbar, and all that. And don't worry, of course, the appearance will change. What I'm more interested is showcasing the fact that now we can see the stats. And then if, let's say, I go to all jobs, then I'm going to have this return, basically whatever I have in the page. So we're already moving in the right direction. We have all the components in place. So now we can tackle them one by one and set up the complete logic.